Hey friends, and welcome back. In this video, we are testing out some of the Pioneer Woman's super easy recipes from her new cookbook. The Pioneer Woman is one of my favorite personalities from the Food Network, and her recipes just always turn out great for me. I make her sticky buns for Christmas and Thanksgiving, just around the holidays, and they are so good. They are like the best sticky buns I've ever had. All the neighbors give me compliments on them. Everyone loves them. I just in general find that her recipes are great. So I saw this recipe, this super easy cookbook that she just released at Cracker Barrel when I went there to eat with my mom, and I decided I was going to get it. Well, tip if anybody else wants to pick it up too, at Cracker Barrel, I think it was like $30 for the cookbook, and I looked on Amazon and it was $10 cheaper. So basically, if you're going to get it, don't get it from Cracker Barrel. Save yourself 10 bucks and order it from Amazon. The super easy appeals to me because I like quick and easy recipes. I don't normally do things that take a whole lot of time. And this says it is 120 shortcut recipes for dinners, desserts, and more, which is right up my alley. So the first one that I'm gonna test out is this stromboli recipe. So the recipe book just says it's a classic stromboli, and it looks pretty easy. Basically, I think I just have to spread out the pizza dough, pesto on top of it, then layer the meat and cheese and bacon. So doesn't seem to be too complicated. Let's get going. The recipe calls for frozen pizza dough for the stromboli. So I got this pizza dough from Ingles in the frozen section. I'd never worked with it before. And I thought that I just thawed it and used it right after I thawed it. But actually, I looked at the directions on the packaging later and realized you're supposed to thaw it and then let it sit out at room temperature for another 2 hours so it can rise. So while I was rolling this out, I was thinking, like, gosh, this is small. This is so hard to work with. This doesn't even look like the size of a whole pizza. Well, I mean, it's not because I should have let it rise for 2 hours and it would have gotten bigger. So I just rolled that dough out. Then here I'm putting the pesto onto the dough and I'm just going to spread it out. The dough did end up working out just fine. It baked up in the oven perfectly fine, but it would have been better for sure if I had let it rise like the instructions said. So learn from my mistakes, and if you make this and you get frozen pizza dough as well, just make sure you look at the instructions on the packaging. Everybody besides me probably already knew that, but I've never bought frozen pizza dough before, so this was my first adventure into frozen dough. Next, I'm just layering the salami, the prosciutto, and the cheese all on top of that pesto. Next, I'm just sprinkling some Italian seasoning and some basil on top, and then I'm going to tuck all of these edges in and put it on the pan. I'm tucking all of these edges in here, the short edges first, and then I'm just bringing the long edges up to meet in the middle as well. And then I'm going to flip it over so that the seam side is down and put it on the pan to go into the oven. Once it's on the pan, the instructions say to slit 5 slits with a sharp knife into the top, and then brush the top with olive oil and sprinkle it with Parmesan cheese. It's in the oven, and we'll check back in 23 minutes. This is what the cross section looks like. Let's see. I'm gonna do the taste test.
It's really good.
It is. It's good. I tasted some too, and it's definitely salty. So all of the
Not too salty though.
No?
We like our sodium.
We do like our sodium. It's definitely good. I would make it again.
Oh, it's really good.
It is. There is a lot of salami in there, and definitely, if you don't like it super salty, I would say maybe substitute half of the salami for ham.
We like the salami though. All that.
If you like the salt, we enjoy it.
Do it twice you did if you like the salts. We like the salts.
That's right. Next up is the Pioneer Woman's 11 can soup recipe. So this recipe is literally just 11 cans, a combination of 11 cans of things that you put into a pot and heat it up, and it's ready to go. So I actually did find this recipe online. She's published this one, so I'll link this in the description box below. But I'm adding all of these things to the pot. So the beans, artichoke hearts, several different kinds of beans, cannellini beans, green beans, great northern beans. There's some tomatoes in there, fire roasted peppers. You can see I'm putting those in. If I had to go back and do one thing over again, I would cut the fire roasted peppers up before I put them in the soup because they were in pretty large chunks, and I did end up pulling them out afterwards and cutting them up and putting them back in the pot. So once you put all of the cans into the pot, you just give it a good stir and let it simmer for, the recipe says a minimum of 30 minutes, but an hour if you've got the time. I did let it simmer for an hour, and this is what it looks like after it's been simmering for that long. It came together really well, and I'll show you the final plated soup after this next bread recipe. To go with the soup, we made the Pioneer Woman's recipe for arti bread. So basically, it's bread with vegetables and herbs on top, and you bake them all together. It turns out really delicious, actually. But this recipe also called for frozen bread dough. This was a couple nights after we made the stromboli. And by this point, I had realized my error with the bread dough the first time around. So I did let this thaw and then give it a couple extra hours on the counter so it could rise before I made this recipe with the bread dough. And it was much easier to work with. So you're just supposed to spread it out on a pan, spread the bread dough on a pan, and then go through with your fingers and dimple the top of it so that you have space to put in the tomatoes and the olives and the other things that we're going to put on top of the bread. First, you just put some cherry tomatoes, halved cherry tomatoes, on the bread. So it tells you to try and push them down and anchor them in the dough. So I'm trying to do that here, just spreading them out all over the dough and pushing them down to try and get them to stick in there. One for the chef. Next we have olives. So I've halved these olives and I'm just going to do the same thing as I did with the tomatoes. Just spread them out all around the dough and push them down. Next, we're going to sprinkle some herbs on the top. So rosemary first. And then sage. The recipe asks for fresh herbs. I think it asks for fresh rosemary and sage, but I didn't have those. And I mean, fresh herbs are really expensive at the grocery store. So I just used the dried kind and it turned out just fine. Next, I'm going to take some olive oil and just brush it over the top of the bread. I did find this recipe online as well, so I'll link that below for you. Online, it's called Artie Holiday Bread, and in her book, it's called just Artie Bread, but I can't see a difference between the two of them, so I think they're exactly the same recipe, and it'll be linked below down in the description box for you. Sprinkle the top with some salt and pepper. And then the Parmesan cheese goes all over the top. We baked the bread in the oven, and then this is the final product. Okay, everything's finished. C's gonna give us the first taste test. Sorry, you can hear Abby
Tiptoe.
in the background.
That's really good. I think we should make pizza with this.
Oh yeah, it would
That
be
really
good. The bread is super.
I like it as is, but I mean, using that for a pizza, I don't think that'd be next level.
It would be really good. The bread is super like thin and crispy in the middle. And the herbs taste really good
They do.
on the dough. The tomatoes and the olives got really just like nice in the oven. It tastes really good. This one I definitely would make again. I will say the Pioneer Woman did me wrong. She did me wrong this time because the recipe says not to spray the pan for this, and I was like, I don't know, I would normally spray the pan before I would put pizza dough on it, but the Pioneer Woman says not to, so I'm not going to do it. And I had a heck of a time just now trying to get all of this unstuck from this pan. So definitely, if you make this, it's worth it for sure, but spray your pan before you put the dough on there. Now for the soup.
I like that too. That's really good. What's in the middle?
It's artichokes.
Okay.
So those big pieces are artichokes.
Yeah.
If I had to do it again, I think I would cut the artichokes up into smaller pieces, just so
I
you
don't
could.
think it's bad like that. I've had soup like that before, but I liked it.
Good. I like it a lot too, and it was definitely easy. You literally just opened all of those cans and dumped them into the pot. So this one gets a thumbs up too.
It's a winner.
It's a winner. They're both winners.
Yeah.
And together, I think it makes a really nice dinner. Yeah. Pioneer Woman comes through again.
For the win.
For the win. Hey guys, it's the next day and I just realized that I forgot to film an outro for that video yesterday. So overall, we loved all three of the Pioneer Woman's easy recipes from this cookbook. But I would say if I had to make one of them out of the three again, I would pick the Artie bread. I think that was my favorite. The soup and the stromboli were really good as well, but the stromboli, I definitely next time would cut half of the salami out and add ham instead because it was very salty. We do enjoy salt a lot, but probably I would cut half of it with ham the next go around. The soup was really good as well. It was very easy to just throw all of those cans in the pot, and it had a really good flavor. So it was really good as well, but I think the Artie bread was probably my favorite recipe, and if I had to pick one of the three to tell you to go make, it would be that one. But they're all good. No losers in the bunch. They were all great recipes and definitely worth a try. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see any more of the Pioneer Woman's recipes on my channel, please let me know in the comment box down below which ones, and I'll try and make those for you guys. Also, let me know if you've tried any of the Pioneer Woman's recipes from this cookbook and what you think about it. But thank you so much again, and please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. You all have a good night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.